Hello, hello, and welcome to the Finding the Unicorn in You podcast. What a beautiful day to inspire lives. My name is Dr. Jaime G, your host, and I'm so excited to have you here. Let's get ready to meet some fantastic unicorns and learn how to unleash the inner unicorn in you. Let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Finding the Unicorn in You. Today is another Unicorn Roundup. This is a special episode in where we bring back previous unicorns to talk about hot topics to help you hone your unicorn skills and help you be the best version of yourself. Our guest today will be talking about how one breaks into leadership. So, without further ado, welcome back Mayra Roman, Yvette Nunez, and Celeste from Celeste's Interest. Hello, y'all. How y'all doing?
We're doing good.
Hi, happy Friday. Thank you for having us back.
Share what's one thing that you've learned recently that stood out to you?
We can go ahead and get started. Hello, everybody. My name is Yvette Nunez, and I'm currently have split time in education and also in the nonprofit sector. I have a lot of experience working with the communities, working with families, and in education, really focusing on the development of professionals that are going into early care and education. So I think one thing that a very valuable lesson that I've learned is not to lose sight of your passion and not to let titles or a big opportunity cloud your perspective and your ultimate
I love
why.
that.
Hi, everybody. I'm Celeste from Celeste's Interest. And as you guys may know, I have my own podcast. And I'm not in the workforce, so I'm younger. And I do cheer, I'm in school, ASB. I do many things in my community, my campus, and my culture there. My most recent thing I've learned is probably that you have to persevere even when it's hard and just fake it till you make it. That's what I've learned really recently.
I love it, Celeste.
It's really
Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, wherever the time it is. My name is Mayra Roman. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I have been in the nonprofit world for about 17 years on several progressive roles. Lately, I have been a program director at a nonprofit that works with youth and families. I consider myself a champion, an advocate of children and families. And something that I have recently learned is to trust the process, that everything will be all right at the end of the day, that I don't have to carry everything on my shoulders, that way, that just trust the process, everything will be okay. No need to worry more than what you need to.
And everybody knows me already. My name is Dr. Jaime Raygoza. And one thing that I learned was that your body will give you hints on when you need to take care of yourself. So I recently learned this from my doctor because my left eye twitches a lot. And it starts twitching more the more anxiety builds up in my body. So that's my body's telling me, hey, you need to lessen the stress levels and do something to take care of yourself. So don't allow to get it to the horrible part. So listen to your body, observe what's going on, and feel free to take a step back. So we're going to go right into the first question. So, what are some common challenges that people face when trying to get into leadership roles?
I can go first this time. And I'm going to speak directly for my own experience. So, as I went into leadership, one of the biggest challenge that I encountered was navigating relationships. Before coming into a leadership, you receive the directives, your boss tells you what to do, and you have your coworkers, and you guys are on a team, you guys are all on the same, most of the time, on the same page, and everything is nice. But as you continue to grow in leadership, there are different types of relationships that you need to navigate, and some of those could be challenging. On my first role as a leader, I wasn't really prepared yet, and that was such a big challenge. Learning that sometimes, but sad to say, but it's true. Sometimes there's a lot of bureaucracy that happens as you move up at higher levels, and you need to learn how to navigate those relationships with integrity and kindness, but also being firm. So that was one of the biggest challenge I encountered as I move on my career.
I can go second. So, like I said, I don't have a job, so I wouldn't know anything about taking like upper management roles or anything like that. But like I said, I was in cheer. One of the things that's hard in leadership is you don't know when to step in. And right now we're kind of like in that phase where we're trying to find a leader, another co-captain, and we are all at the same level, and we're all trying to like up our game and not like should I help right now, should I be better right now, and not knowing like when to step in and be a leader. So that's one of the hardest challenges I've seen right now that people are facing.
I love that, Celeste. And I could definitely expand on that because I think for me, one of those challenges has been to trust that I'm well equipped to be able to be in that leadership role. And I believe that if you believe in yourself and you know what you've come with and you are prepared because you have that lived experience, then that seat at the table really is meant for you. But I guess that imposter syndrome rolls around and it's really hard. It's you have to every single day remind yourself of why you're here, what you've been through, and continue to persevere, as it was mentioned earlier. And I think, yeah, what Mayra said is navigating those relationships. You want to be kind and friendly, but knowing when to be firm, I think, is a really great lesson and can be sometimes challenging.
I think when you have to know when to step in and when not to step in, and also to take everybody's statement, what they tell you, seriously. Because when you're in the ground level, let's say you were coworkers and you move up, something you like a joke or a statement you might have said as coworkers may be taken differently now that you're their supervisor. So you may still be in that mentality. I'm going to say this joke. I'm going to say this statement, but then because you're in a place of power now, they may take it a whole different level in a whole different way, which may offend people and may make stir up the pot a little bit. So really paying attention to the language you use, even the minute details on like certain like I've gotten comments on my facial expressions because sometimes I can get very serious and I just have a blank expression. Like Jaime's mad. He's pissed off. He doesn't like what we're doing today. And it's just I'm like thinking about what to make for dinner. But then they take it as like he's pissed not he's not happy with us today. So those little small details make a big difference. So with these difficulties or with these things that y'all brought up, how do you feel someone who's in the like field staff or people, it doesn't have to be specific for a job, but somebody who wants to be a leader but maybe the positions aren't just coming up or the opportunities are not coming up, what can they do to still be getting prepared to become that leader in the meanwhile as they wait?
I go back to cheer a lot because it's literally cheerleader. So if you flip up that word, it's cheerleader. And so maybe you're not a co-captain, you're not a head captain, or whatever it is, you can definitely be a leader in a small little group. So what we do is that after practice, if we need to practice a dance or a cheer, we'll split off into groups and there'll be a leader. I lead a study group after every practice, and that's how I'm a leader. And that's some advice that if you're not even at that leadership role yet, you can still practice that with a smaller group of people and then obviously work your way up to your main goal.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I think for me, what's definitely kept me prepared and when I haven't had the experiences is reading and books. And so I think also listening to podcasts like yours, Jaime, and then also Celeste's interest and just surrounding yourself with people that are willing to share their experiences and be authentic because we know it's not easy. So I think the more that you surround yourself with authentic people that are willing to share that it is difficult and this is what I've experienced. This is what's worked for me. And having a good collective library of leadership book, Maxwell, and there's so many Simon Sinek and Brene Brown. There's so many great authors out there that you can definitely dive into and read and great podcasts to follow.
Yes, and I'm gonna second what Yvette is saying is keep preparing yourself. The position might not be open at this moment. Or your supervisor, your manager might not be looking at you at this moment for different reasons. But I think I have shared with you, Jaime, my favorite quote, and I think it's appropriate to share it again. Be consistent, be consistent. Do your best, be responsible because soon or later, discipline will overcome talent. And leadership, yes, you need to have talent, definitely. You need to have those skills. But at the end of the day, you need somebody that is responsible, that is going to be trustworthy. to get into that big challenge of being a leader, because it's not easy. Leadership, it's about sometimes dying to yourself so that others can grow, and that's not an easy thing to do.
You have to be able to focus on you, because whatever insecurities, whatever self-doubts or imposter syndrome that you're feeling, that's going to show up once you get into that leadership position. And those insecurities are going to hit harder because your insecurities are not going to be your staff's insecurities. And it may be perceived a whole different way. So you have to consistently be working on you so that when you do get into that leadership position, you all you have to do is learn the leadership quality. I know that some people go through some self-doubts, and it's hard for people like of color, of diverse backgrounds, when they're trying to move up in the ladder in the corporate world, but when they don't see people that are like them in leadership positions, it can be a little bit discouraging. So what are some tips that one can do to get into that leadership role?
What I would say is yes, that maybe you're gonna be the first one that is gonna have to go the extra mile. As a woman of color, as an immigrant, yes, there are not that many women of color that are immigrant with my own background that might be in leadership positions. So I might be the one that need to go the extra mile to educate the people, to show them and show them with kindness, because sometimes people don't know what they don't know. In my own experience, I know, and I'm very conscious that some people might not be very familiar to see my face or my accent in those roles, but it is my job to show them how my community looks, what leaderships are, how leadership is looking in my community and the needs of my community, and bringing to them who I am and my life experience. And I have chose to do that with kindness, instead of, oh, you better respect me or you better accept me. Let me educate you, let me share with you.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think as women of color, women of higher education, it's really difficult. So we have to balance, because I think we have this perception of we're in a room and people see us, they might have a certain expectation. And so we have to navigate that situation very carefully, with poise, with integrity, with respect, and then knowing that sometimes we have to say, or how do I say, like that we have to have that presentation and present it at an even higher level, like of ourselves, like to showcase ourselves, because there's so much more, I think, sometimes that we're seen with. But I definitely think that going that extra mile and being brave, I think that's really key, is being brave to speak up and not be afraid of, are they going to judge me because I'm asking this question for clarification? But I think, for us, it's like growing up in a bilingual household, there's words or there's situations that were new to us, and now that we're in corporate world, or even just like in this executive director world, where you are okay, like you want to fit in and you want to make sure that you understand everything, and so asking for clarification is okay, and knowing that. And I think that's our role, to continue to ask those questions, to continue to show up and be brave.
I don't really know how to answer this question because I don't really see any of this in my
What about
life.
in ASB? Does everybody look like you? Does everybody?
But it doesn't matter. We don't really care about that, so I don't know how to answer this question.
So I think that's a great perspective. So maybe I'm here. That might be a construct that us as adults we take on, because you're in seventh grade and you're like, I don't see that there's a
We
difference. Like
all collaborate the same. We all help each other the same way, and it doesn't really matter. And like today, we had a breast cancer awareness walk for breast cancer awareness, and we had to put up posters. And there's not like a person that like, oh, only these certain people get to put up posters, and the others will just stay back. It's like we all collaborate and we all do the same thing.
So you guys are always seeing each other as leaders.
Basically.
And I do think that the generation now is a lot more liberal, and they have more an understanding of equality and treating people with more respect than when we were in middle school and high school. I think that we need to learn from the younger generations and keep up those that they're doing, and continue doing that on our end too. So, as a leader, And as a person that's trying to get into leadership, how do you stay motivated and not feel defeated when things don't go your way?
I have this thing in my room, a box where it has like positive things that you can do for yourself and things that you can maybe do for others. So I use that to just remind myself that I'm amazing, I'm worth it. I'll do like kind things for others. Like today, I'll give you an example. My science teacher, she had a class period, and because I'm an ASB, I was taking down posters, and she saw me. She's like, "Celeste, can you do me a favor?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course." And she told me to go get copies for her in the office, and she had a class period, so she didn't have to leave the class period and have to wait in the office to get the copies. So I did that favor, and it made me feel like I helped her in some way. Yeah.
I think so. I think there's so much to be said about getting motivated when you do kind things for others. I know for me, the fact that I balance two almost like two full-time jobs, it's like one of them helps fill my other cup. So I think bringing a smile to like my students' face or sharing information that they didn't know or helping them make a connection with like theory and actual real life, that brings me a lot of joy. And then of course I get so much inspiration from my daughter here, like hearing her being on this podcast with her, hearing her just speak just freely and hearing her perspective on leadership is so motivating. And of course, having people like this, I think learning from Mayra, I think we all have these intersections that our lives, our path have crossed professionally. So I think I've taken bits of inspiration from each and every one of you.
I think the only thing that I can add, Jaime, it's what Yvette shared a little bit earlier. Knowing your why you do what you do. Why? Obviously, it's not going to be easy, but you do it for a reason. You do it because you believe. In my case, I believe in families. I believe in children. I believe in our community. Somebody needs to pay a price. And I'm not saying that, oh, what a price I'm paying, right? But it gets tough. Being a leader, you're the buffer between a lot of things. So it could be stressful. If not you, then who?
And we are the ones that motivate other people as well. So our staff look to us for inspiration. So if we're not motivated and we feel defeated, then they're gonna get that feeling and also apply it to their own lives. So I think sometimes, like Celeste said, we have to fake it till we make it. You have to stay like I in the back of my mind, I'm like, things are horrible, but hey guys, everything's going great. We're doing such a good job. Keep going at it. And you're manifesting those good vibes and that things are gonna keep going to be better. And you have to have faith that by working together and by truly putting your full effort into it, that things are going to be okay.
And you know what? I was just thinking about something. Just seeing Celeste. Yes, of course, there's a motivation, a why. Celeste represents children, teenagers, represents the next generation. Of course, they deserve everything. They deserve for us that are a little bit older to make it better for themselves. So that's the motivation.
We're creating a better future for them so that we set good stepping stones so that for the future generations to come in, it will be easier and they don't have to struggle as much as we struggle to get here.
Yeah. And I think right now it's fake it till you make it. I think we fake it so that they believe it. So fake it till they believe it and we believe it.
It comes in phases. I heard a speaker once say, fake it till you make it, and then fake it until you become it. One thing to like also go into, a lot of people want to go into leadership, not only because one, it looks good, two, the money, but three, because you get to make impactful change. And a lot of us try to become the leaders that we wish we had when we were younger. But with all of that, it comes with a lot of stress and it comes with a lot of responsibilities that sometimes can become very overwhelming for us. So, what are some things to still maintain that balance and self love and self care, but still being able to pursue your goals in leadership?
I'm just gonna share really quick because I feel like this reminds me of me a lot, even though that I'm not old, so I'm a little bit younger. But I always tell my mom, like, why are you so perfect? Like, I want to be just like you, because that's the leader that I'm seeing in my everyday life. So I always tell her I want to be just like you, and that kind of like, then I don't become, and after like I do something like a little mishap or something, and I'm like, it puts a lot of like stress on me. Like, oh, I'm not that perfect anymore. She's so perfect, and I'm not that perfect. So that's something that I think, and something that will help me like be like, it's okay. You don't have to be like everybody else. Like you have to be like you, and you're the one that's gonna be the leader that you want to be.
Yeah, and I think it's really great for me to hear her perspective of like how she sees me. And I am not in any way, shape, or form perfect, but I definitely try to bring that sense of you do what you can, you try your best, and then remembering to take care of herself. Like, for example, today, once a month, I take her to go get a facial. So she gets pampered and it's very relaxing. Sometimes they have to wake her up because she falls
I
asleep.
fell asleep today while I was doing my light
But I'm like,
treatment.
that's great because it's relaxing. And I
So
want her to have that moment of, we need to take care of you. So I think that's great. And I think for me is obviously what, like Jaime said, paying attention to our bodies. And I think as we're doing this, like I feel my left eye, like the whole week I've been feeling it. And now I feel it even more. But I think for me, it's having outlets like my Zumba classes and being able to listen to some good music and really, to be honest, teaching. I love teaching my students. Teaching. Every time I'm done with a lecture, I'm just so happy. I'm elated to like be able to share information with them.
Yeah, like I've been to her classes a handful of times, and I know like after or when we have our breaks, like she feels so happy and she has the biggest smile when she teaches. Like it's so cool to see her do that.
Do more of what makes you happy, right?
I know.
That's the prescription. For me, it's my family as well. Those are my daughter, my husband. They are the ones that give me the energy, and it's a good balance. I put in boundaries, even though I love my job, even though I am for the cause, right? It's with a boundary as well, because we only have one life and we gotta live it and live it fully. Yes, stress is not gonna do us that good, right? Of course, leadership is gonna bring you challenges, and it's gonna be a process. It's a process to learn, because in leadership you're just resolving problems. If you're not, you become a really good problem solver, but then you need to learn that to let things go, to fly above the storm. But that requires time and process. So leadership takes its time as well.
I love that analogy, Mayra.
Yeah, I know. I could picture. We just need
I
to get above
pictured
that
it,
storm.
yeah.
I completely agree. And I know, Mayra, we met recently and you told me that you saw a difference in the way that I am. And when I answered you, I even took a while for me to even let it sink in. But you have to be able to schedule like times where you love yourself and where you do things that you truly are passionate about. And if you ask yourself, I don't know what I'm passionate about, I don't know what brings me love, then this is the sign that you need to start taking yourself on dates, start doing things like that. You just play around with different activities and see what piques your interest and really take yourself out there. Like the reason I feel a lot happier with myself is because I go out to dinner to different restaurants that I've been wanting to go, but I've always made the excuse that, oh, no one wants to go with me. Well, I'm going to go with me and I'm going to enjoy the experience and then just treat myself and do the things that I want to do. If I want to take the Instagram picture of the food, I'm going to do it. I don't care what people say. I'm just going to take the picture, or I'm going to make the silly face, or I'm going to do a little photo shoot, whatever it is, but just do things that bring you joy so that you can start healing and feeding your soul.
And I remember that at that time you shared with me the rule of the three, something like that. Do you mind sharing it again?
So every 3 hours, you have to get up off your desk or wherever you're at and switch positions. Go out to get some sun, come back, go just do some stretches, just walk around. Every 3 days, leave your apartment, leave your home, go to a restaurant, go somewhere, but take yourself out of your regular environment. Every 3 weeks, you have to leave the city. You have to give your mind a whole different perspective. So go to a different city, try a different restaurant somewhere outside, go to the beach, go to the mountains somewhere, but just outside the restriction of your city. Every 3 months, you have to leave the county. So you have to challenge yourself to even go further. Plan like a little staycation somewhere, go to a museum in another county, go somewhere else, but just get further away. And then every 3 years, leave the country. Immerse yourself into a whole different culture, immerse yourself into something different. Each of these sections of three are shocking your mental health, your system, and it's a soft reset so that you can bring happiness and joy and creativity back in your life.
I love what you just said. I'm gonna do that because I love reading.
And you
That.
need to follow the rule of three. Yes, I'm writing it down.
Yes, definitely. But that's something that's easy. Just it's and like I said, if it's not planned, it most likely won't happen. So put it in your calendar, set reminders. Like I have my calendar consistently every 3 hours, get up. Every 3 days, time to leave your apartment. And I set a reminder, a reoccurring, so that every time it hits, I have to do something.
That sounds like a new segment, Jaime, for your podcast. It's like the rule of three, and you're in a different city, a different county, and then somewhere.
I should do that. Let's do it.
Adopt it. Adopt it. That's good. That's a really good idea. I never thought about that. Creates creativity. That's amazing. But the last thing that I wanted to talk about before we wrap up today is as a leader, we people that look up to leaders, they think that they're always in a level of success. So for you, what does it mean to to have success as a leader?
For me, to have success as a leader is to know that the people trust me instead of liking me. I have done that switch at the beginning of my leadership. I wanted people to like me, accept me, please, like me. But as I move forward, I think I'm more worried, or I'm more concentrate. I concentrate more on people to trust me than to like me, because I'm following a vision, a direction. Some people are gonna be happy, other people are not gonna be happy. That's how it is. But you follow the vision and the mission that you have to accomplish. And to me, that's been a successful leader. That whatever task I was given, goal or whatever that was, that I carry it on, even if people were not happy. But they know, I want people to know that I'm gonna take them to the other side. So better to trust me as a leader than to like me as a leader. That will define success for me in leadership.
That's really good. For me too, I was very much like Myra, where I did want people to like me, and I think now in this particular phase, it is about the building the trust, and it's about the collaboration, really being able to be that bridge and create bridges where you think they're not going to be able to hold up. I think that's what would define success for me, where you see systems that traditionally have not really gelled together and have been siloed. So being able to bring those systems and align them, that's what success would look like for me in leadership.
I know that my mom and Myra just said like they want people to trust them and accept them. I think right now I'm still in that. I want people to like me, and if this is a really not dumb, but it's a funny thing I do. After all my classes, I try to get a lot of people to know me because I'm new to this. I'm not new, but I started at the school and I didn't really know anybody. So I always count how many people say hi to me, and I add up like my scores, I guess. At the end of the day, I'll see if I improved, and I feel like that's what gives me a little bit of joy. But as a success, as a leader, I feel like it'd be just for people to know I'm there for them. And if they have something that they need to share, like I'll listen to them and I will try to help them and guide them through it.
That's great. I think, yeah, listening is really
I
important
do
in
have my
leadership.
scores up. Today I got 10.
No, but that is interesting. And I think that's a really good segue for you to be able to learn how to network because then if you know how many people know you, then you can use those relationships and challenge yourself one step further. How can I create a relationship where it can be mutually beneficial with all these people that say hi to me? So I think that's a really good starting point where you're at right now.
For sure. Like I have a lot of relationships I built from cheer. Like yesterday, I told you I had an event. I didn't know how the hair was going to be done today. I texted one of my friends from cheer and I was like, "Hey, do you know how the hair is going to be done?" She's like, "Yeah." That's like a relationship that I have that I can use to make sure that I'm on point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's great. And I think to go off with you, it relates a lot with my level of success, where I know I'm successful is if I build a system around me where people are not relying and dependent on me to get everything done. if I'm not able to leave a month on vacation and my business is not going to crumble and go on fire, I know I did my job as a successful leader. So there's like those fail safes and people getting cross trained and giving them the skill set to be ready to become leaders themselves. And I feel comfortable trusting them to do that, then I know I'm a successful leader, because it's so hard wanting to control everything yourself and then saying I can't go on vacation because things are going to go right. And I was like, nope. Sometimes I have to just trust the process, like y'all said, and then just let go and trust that they're going to do what they have to do.
If not, they'll learn. That'll
Yeah.
be a good learning
Trial
opportunity
and
too.
error.
Exactly.
Trial and error, yeah.
Exactly. This has been such a awesome conversation. Y'all are so full of wisdom. It's been such a pleasure. To wrap everything up, if there's one little lesson that you want people to leave with today, what would it be?
I think that the lesson is to trust yourself, to trust that you have the tools and to be able to tap in and help people navigate their journey. Just to trust yourself.
I think for me is that know that you're amazing. Know that you're worth it enough. And I've learned that I have sometimes I think like I'm not enough. I try to get straight A's. I try to do everything. But sometimes I have to get that one B. And I have to know that it's okay, that I can work it and I can work through it. And that it's all going to end up okay. And it's not the end of the world if I'm not a straight A student or whatever it is, the case might be. So just to trust yourself, know that you're worth it and amazing.
Believe in yourself, right? You got to believe in you. And that sometimes is very easy to say, but it's very hard to show it, to do it. But you have to. And it is a process. That's my learning for today. It's a process. Leadership, it's a process.
Yes, I love that. What wonderful lessons to leave everybody with today. But I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for coming on here. Hopefully, we'll have you here once again in the future. And as a quick reminder for listeners, episodes come out every Friday at 7 a.m. And do something for yourself. Know that you're worth it. Know that you are worthy of all the experiences that you have experienced so far and the ones that are waiting for you in the future tomorrow. So thank you, everyone, and hope everyone has a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Finding the Unicorn in You podcast. I truly appreciate you listening, and I hope you enjoyed this episode and gained valuable insights. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review on your favorite platform. Keep listening, keep learning, and keep growing. Until next time, this is Dr. Jaime Gabriel Raygoza signing off.